Most of us are used to tossing our trash in a garbage can and then forgetting all about it. But that trash has to go somewhere, a landfill, an incinerator, or maybe it just goes into our waterways. There simply isn't enough capacity to make all our garbage disappear, especially if we care about our planet and its future. In this digital tour, I want to take you to Baltimore to learn about citywide composting and textile recycling, two ways to turn our trash into treasure. 40% of food in the United States ends up in landfills. This is a tremendous drag on our waste systems, and in Baltimore, where over 20% of people face persistent food insecurity, it is a crime. Nearly 50% of trash that makes it to the curbs and alleyways of our city is food or organic matter that could be rescued to feed people or make compost, a rich soil amendment that helps everything grow better and helps decrease dangerous runoff that poisons our watershed. And shifting to a system that rescues this organic matter creates jobs in a green economy that promises to make the world better for all of us. Baltimore's composting infrastructure is fairly new. Individuals have long composted in their own backyards and kitchens, but scaling up to a community level is a bit more complicated. Baltimore's Office of Sustainability offers a guide to home composting that is linked in the description to this video. The Baltimore Compost Collective is an easy way to rescue your food scraps without the mess of composting for yourself. BCC is a Black-owned business and youth entrepreneurship project that collects food scraps from several Baltimore neighborhoods to be composted at Filbert Street Garden in the Curtis Bay neighborhood in far south Baltimore. The garden uses the compost to grow fresh produce and fight food insecurity in the area. Young people learn to compost, grow food, and manage a community business. Everybody wins. Compost Crew is another group that will pick up your food waste and compost it on your behalf. Based in Rockville, Maryland, they serve much of the greater Baltimore and DC area. For a small monthly fee, they will give you a 7 to 12 gallon container to fill with food scraps. Leave it on your porch and they come pick it up for you. Easy peasy. The organization has already drawn over 20 million pounds of organic waste from the trash to turn into the treasure of rich soil for use all over the region. These private groups do incredibly important work, but they leave me wondering, if the city takes care of trash, why can't they also embrace composting as part of that system? And it turns out they do. The city's Department of Public Works collects food waste at any of the 5 citywide waste transfer stations and at the JFX and Waverly farmers markets. A partnership with the National Resources Defense Council, this pilot program is part of larger efforts to stem food waste and increase municipal composting. In December of 2023, the DPW Office of Waste Diversion received a $264,840 grant to support their food waste diversion. They are partnering with Johns Hopkins, Loyola University, and the University of Maryland, Baltimore to add collection sites at those institutions, promising to capture large streams of food waste. The grant will also support outreach and education programs, as well as provide supplies for My City and Be More Community Food to help with their food recovery and composting projects. The pilot project runs through June 2025, so find a place to drop your food waste and let's all work together to make this a success. Do you live on campus? You can compost too. UMBC has had a composting program since 2016, and they are able to process all kinds of food waste, including meat and dairy. Drop your compostable waste at True Grits, Einstein's, the UC, the cafe, and admin, and in bins at the community garden and outside other buildings on campus. The program has diverted nearly 400 tons of material that would have ended up in a landfill. Another big tenet of our landfills is textiles. The average U.S. consumer throws away over 100 pounds of clothing a year, a number on the rise thanks to fast fashion. That's 34 billion pounds a year, and 66% of it ends up in landfills. Around 15% is recycled, but half of that number is sent to recycling in the global south, where it just ends up in landfills, incinerators, and far too often waterways. The U.S. makes much of the world its trash dump, and it threatens the health of all of us. Many countries have banned used clothing imports for exactly these reasons. What can we do about textile waste here in Baltimore? The easiest way to reduce this waste is to purchase fewer clothes in the first place. When clothes reach the end of their life cycle with us, many of us take them to a thrift store, thinking that will give them another life. This is true of some of our clothing, but much of it is not in good condition or is sent by places like the Salvation Army, Goodwill, or Planet Aid, those yellow drop boxes in parking lots, out of the country, simply outsourcing the harm yet again. If clothes are simply not in condition to be reworn, what can we do? Baltimore now offers textile recycling. Partnering with an organization called HelpSee in agreement with the Northeast Maryland Waste Disposal Authority, the city offers big blue bins at its city drop-off centers for clothes, shoes, sheets, towels, and other textiles. HelpSee sorts the bin contents into reusable items to distribute to thrift stores. And the rest is recycled into things like insulation, industrial wiper rags, and more. 95% of textiles can be given a second life, and it is worth the trip to make sure your textiles find that new life. We all play a part in making our world cleaner and healthier. This tour is about what individuals can do with food and textile waste in Baltimore, but it doesn't touch our big polluters, industry, and manufacturing. We need structural change to change our present and future, so let's fight for that as we each do what we can to decrease trash in the first place.